Hey there, fantasy baseball world, and welcome to MFSN's The Hub's Thursday Fantasy Baseball Strategy Show. I'll be hosting today because Dr. Dan, our fearless leader, is unavailable, but I am Casey Scheinvold and joined by the incomparable Ross the Boss. How you doing, Ross?
Hey everybody, Ross the Boss coming live from La La City, Lipstick City, Los Angeles, California. We got NBA basketball watching tonight. We have the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. We have the Stanley Cup on Saturday, Casey Scheinvold. We got sports galore, and we're here to talk baseball, which we still have a lot of games coming up, and I'm excited. A lot of stuff going on. Let's get started.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of stuff happen. I think as we put on the cover, if we're talking about somebody today, you kind of have to talk about what Aaron Judge has been doing for the month, what he did in the month of May, and has continued to do once June has turned around. 18 home runs, over a 950 slugging percentage. The guy has been insane. I mean, obviously this isn't sustainable, but what are you expecting from him the rest of the way?
Well, I'm 50 plus home runs, top voting in the MVP, him in his teammate Juan Soto. Soto's stats aren't bad either.
No.
Those two guys, there's a reason why they have the best record in the American League and in Major League Baseball. The reason why is because of Judge and Soto. And Soto, I don't know what you pay him with his next contract, but just the team, I guess. I don't know what to do. But Judge is just, I mean, he's hitting for average, RBIs. He's even stealing a few bases here and there. I mean, this guy is just on fire. And beginning of the year, you and I, we liked him. He's older. He's in his 30s, but we did not have him as like having the year he's having right now. I didn't.
No, I don't think anybody would predict a year like this. I mean,
and if he stays healthy, might as well just give him the MVP right now.
Yeah, but somebody else to consider is Royce Lewis. The guy could, at his current home run pace, he could miss 100 games and still hit 62 home runs.
Yeah, but he's not going to sustain. Again, he hasn't played enough games to be considered. But why don't you tell the folks how many games he's played and how many home runs he had? Because it is kind of crazy.
He played opening day, had one official at bat, hit a home run, came back 2 days ago, went 1 for 1 with a home run and 2 walks. And then yesterday played in his third game, went 1 for 4 with a home run again. I mean, we knew he was a special talent, and obviously we're kidding, but what it would look like to keep this kid healthy for 150 to 160 games would be pretty special. There were a lot of injuries this week. I don't know if you saw this, but Machado is currently not on the IL, but he's out with a hip flexor. Kenta Maeda left the Tigers game after throwing just 2 pitches. And then somebody who you love and somebody who I've always been worried about, shortstop Corey Seager. Now they're saying he could go to.
I saw that, and I knew you were going to bring it up. And
he exits because of his hamstring, and they're already talking
about the Rangers. He's fine. It's an injury we shouldn't be talking about, but he might miss 1 game, maybe, but he's fine. Seager will be back this weekend. No worries. And he was hot. That guy was hot.
I know, but the fear with him is always all those soft tissue injuries.
Now, there's a first for me in Major League Baseball, and this is something up your alley, Casey Scheinvold. This is something you went to school for, that you have that your profession is what this person is out for. And Jeff McNeil of the New York Mets, he's not hurt. He's having offensive struggles. He's not hitting well. The team said he's going to take a mental break from the game. It just mentally he can't perform. Is this like a serious thing? I mean, you're a mental health expert. I can say that. I'm not joking around. Is that something that is common in sports with the mental health break? I mean, if you were his doctor, what would you be recommending? What type of treatment? Is it just going home and watching TV? Is it seeing a therapist? I mean, what is he expected to do?
I mean, basically, from what it sounds like, he's kind of dealing with burnout, with mental fatigue, right? Like, if you think about it, it's a long baseball season. There's a lot of pressure. The Mets have not been playing well. this is supposed to be a table setter up atop the lineup for them historically. It's a real thing. I mean, if you're in any high stress job, right? If you're in any intense environment day in and day out, there are people who are impervious to that stuff, but those people are few and far between. I think what he's going through is just pretty much burnout at this point. He's probably been in a prolonged slump. I haven't looked at his stats close enough.
I'll tell you what his stats are, Casey. It's 226, 4 home runs for the season. And remember, he's 32 years old, so he's a vet. But
this is a guy who's used to be in the 290 plus.
He was the NL batting champion in 2022.
Right. Yeah. So I have a feeling what they're trying to do is get him away from the game for a couple weeks. It might involve some counseling, but it'll probably involve more just, remove yourself from the game. Don't think about your swing, kind of take a reset, and then, address it with fresher eyes and a fresher body in a couple weeks. Is it something that you want to see baseball players struggle with? No, of course not. But it's a real thing. I think we all, if we're overworked or overstressed at work for a prolonged period of time, we get burned out. We have some trouble sleeping. We might not have quite the positive outlook that we normally have, trouble focusing on different things. Unfortunately, it's a real thing. And so I
get it.
I hope a couple weeks away helps him kind of refresh and reset and get back out there, because you never want to see baseball is a grind more than any other sports season. I mean, you're talking 5, sometimes 6 games a week, certainly in the early part of the season, 6 games a week. It's hot out. You're traveling a lot. You're in the hotel for days on end. Look, these guys make millions of dollars. So for me to sit here and say it's a hard life sounds
I didn't say anything. In my mind, I was saying stuff. I did not say anything.
I'm saying it.
I held myself back.
There's a reason why their careers can be short. They need to make as much money as they can early on, because spending 7 or 8 months of the year in hotel rooms and separated from your family and not able to kind of get away from the game can be really hard. I understand they're playing a game. They get paid really well for it. And that's why, we expect him to be out there every day, but I hope he gets the help he needs and comes back stronger than ever.
And, the Phillies are going to England, which I hate. As you know, one of the things I hate the most is when they go out of the country to play games in football, baseball, basketball, whatever team. I hate it. So they're going to London. The Mets are playing the Phillies starting Saturday, not Friday, because Friday's the travel day. So they're not playing Friday. So they're going to go to London to play 2 games in front of the British, which have no idea what baseball is, which is unbelievable to me that they would even waste their time and the flights and everything else. It just makes me livid. And you can quote me on that, Casey Scheinfeld.
I will put it in my next article.
I hate when they fly all over the world to play 2 games or 1 game, spring training in Korea like the Dodgers did. It's just a shame that we have to put up with this, and the players have to do it also. These are regular season games. These games count, baby. And you know what? It's too much. And, at least McNeil doesn't have to deal with that. If you were his doctor and he hired you right now, Casey Scheinfeld, you tell him to go on vacation, you tell him to stay at home. What kind of mental health would you do with him? You can do Zoom calls in the Bahamas if you want. I mean, I would tell him to go to like a nice place like Mexico, someplace relaxing with the ocean view, get some rest mentally, just get massages, have a drink with the wife, have a nice dinner, be by the pool, get a nice tan. That's my way to get rid of this whole mental health stuff. But I'm sure I'm wrong. Casey, what would you suggest he should do?
Well, here's the thing about being a therapist or a psychologist is I wouldn't suggest he do anything. I would listen to him and we help him. I need to know what would be the most relaxing environment for him. Some people find that around their family. Some people find that in isolation. Some people find that in the mountains. Some people find it at the beach. I would I would
Yeah.
kind of have to. I don't know if that's a relaxing one, but I would
Me,
kind of
I
have
love
to.
it. I love it. Casey,
to-
Dave Vegas
I
is
would just.
unbelievable.
I would
Unbelievable.
listen and let him and kind of with him explore and try to figure out what it is that he thinks he needs, and then help him come up with a way to reset himself. Come up with a way to
Reset. The
feel.
reset's the key word. I'm glad you said that. I would be eating steak. I would be I would be gambling. I'll be having a great time. I'll be in Vegas and by the pool. Go to shows. That's my relaxation key. Watching sports, betting sports, unbelievable stuff. That's me. That's how I reset. But I'm sure other people have other ways to do it. I get it. But I hope Opie recovers quick. Casey, let's talk baseball. What do you think? What are the big stories that are going on right now? We talked about Judge and Soto and the Yankees. I know they're playing well. You're a Yankee fan. I get it. But
I know.
Tell me, like Royce Lewis, I guess, is a big.
Well, what I found fun to watch yesterday in the Pirates Dodgers game was Skeens pitched, as everybody knows, and he went head to head with Ohtani. Did you see the two at bats with Ohtani?
I didn't see it. Tell me what happened.
Oh, the first one, he just went straight gas at him, over 100 miles an hour, 3 pitches, just blew him away, striking him out. And then the next time up, it just shows you how good these major league hitters are. And if you keep throwing straight at the same velocity, they're going to time it up. Ohtani took one over the center field wall on him on the next at bat for a 2-run home run. So it was kind of neat to see like the duel there. But I think from a fantasy perspective, what I want to talk about today and what I want to get your advice on is when is it right to sell high on players? And the players I'm talking about in particular are a Yankee, Luis Gil, who's been lights out for the Yankees, and Ranger Suarez, who's been the other in the National League for the Phillies, like the two surprise best teams in each league, who have both been dominant. I don't necessarily trust, given the history of innings that they've pitched and given the history of their performance, that they can keep it up for the season. So if you were selling, well, first, would you sell them high now?
I would
and
say
B, what would you hope to get out of it?
Yeah, Gil would be the most. It would be the most I would resist not selling him, unless somebody offered me something big. I think he's going to be the Rookie of the Year and possibly the Cy Young this year, because Garrett Cole hasn't pitched yet and he's out of the mix. And Kikuchi he pitched well today, Kikuchi, but he's then not been pitching great the past couple starts. I like Gil a lot. He plays on a great team also, and Suarez too. Suarez he's going to come down to earth. I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is right now. I mean, he's pitching lights out also, but he's had some rough starts the past couple times. Gil's somebody that we have no prior stats on, really. I mean, this is his first real season in the Major League Baseball.
Well, and he's coming off of Tommy John.
And everybody, you know what? You say Tommy John, and it's like if you go through all the pitchers in the league, they all have Tommy John. Maybe player
I say that because the year they come back, they usually limit the innings. If they're going to cut him off at 135 innings or 130 innings, let's say, is it better to sell him or ride out those 135, but then not have a pitcher the last month and a half of the season?
I think if you want in fantasy, as we know, there's playoffs that start in late August.
Play to win the game.
Late August, September, most leagues start playoffs. You want to have that ace. You want to have Gil there, manning the fort. Suarez is somebody, if you're weak at one position, let's say shortstop. If you can trade Suarez for one of the top tier shortstops that's underperforming right now, go.
Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz.
Just because it's stolen bases alone, the person who has them, actually he's on the air right now, Chris Atwater, who's asking a basketball question. Celtics in 6.
I know.
Who do you think I'm rooting for? I'll give you one guess. Read the shirt. Mavericks in 6. I hate the Celtics. You guys know that. I hate the Celtics. I hate Boston sports. I'm so happy the Bengals are starting the season with the Patriots so we can shut all those fans up. I'm excited. But and the Red Sox play like the worst team in baseball today too. So they play the White Sox. They have which they should sweep the White Sox.
Isn't it Tanner Houck? Is that who's pitching?
Tanner Houck, who I do think is probably their ace right now. I like Cutter Crawford too. Those are my two from the Red Sox I do like. But all being said, Casey, I really think Suarez is the guy you should be dumping right now if you do have him. I think he peaked. I don't think he's going to keep it up, and I would hold on to him. He's been pitching so well. It'd be hard for me to trade him.
Uncle Ted wants to point out that Cody Poteet is the starter to watch tonight.
Your guy Povich pitched today for the
Cade Povich. Yeah, I've been talking about him a lot. He got called up today.
He got called up. He gave up. He looked okay. I'm not going to talk bad about the start. He went up against Kikuchi. They scored 6. It was 6-5, I believe. 101, I believe. And but Povich looked good. I'm going to try to pick him up today if he's not taken in some of my leagues. I like that kid.
Yeah, he's a good player. So Uncle Ted asked, would you trade Gleyber Torres for Helio Ramos of the San Francisco Giants, center fielder?
I would. Depends on your team, but I'd rather have Torres on my team because I'm riding that week. I'm riding the Yankees right now, so I just think the Yankees are just you want to grab a piece of that offense right now. They're scoring runs, and
yeah, I mean second base is a really thin position too, so it's hard to trade.
I'll give my viewers a little piece of advice. Anytime the Yankees are playing the Twins, you bet the mortgage on the Yankees. You stack the Yankees. You just stack them against the Twins. For some reason they beat them every time. I don't know what it is with Minnesota, but the Yankees own Minnesota.
It's like when Pedro Martinez kind of said, sometimes you have to tip your cap and admit they're your daddy.
The Yankees just can't lose against the Twins. There you go. So that's my tip of the day.
All right. Good tip. Good tip. So, yeah, I was going to talk about Cade Povich making the start for Baltimore. They're playing.
They already played. Game's over.
Oh, how did he pitch?
Your boy Guerrero Jr. had a home run today, Casey. 3-run shot.
Well, that's good.
Your boy who you're named after.
He doesn't have a lot of those this year.
No, he's going to be traded. He'll be out of Toronto by July.
I hope Houston trades for him because I want to see him bat in those Crawford boxes. That would be nice to see.
Houston's a good team. I think there's a few. As we think last week, we discussed a few possible places for him to go. Maybe even Baltimore. Why not? Bring him in.
Hey, I don't like the stadium for right-handed power, but you got to take what you can get. That's true. So what other big stories are people talking about this week?
Well, all the injuries. I mean, it's just amazing. Like if you look at every team, like let's say Milwaukee, like Gasser, who's the rookie pitcher they have, who's pitching great. Love the name Gasser for a pitcher. I mean, he's on the IL. You know, it's like every team except the Phillies. They only have one. Is Turner. He went on the DL like a month ago or 6 weeks ago. But there's a few teams that aren't really hit with the injury bug, and it really obviously it helps them. As we discussed, Casey, Spencer Torkelson, the number 1 pick out of the draft, out of the great University of Arizona State, they sent him to the minor leagues. I mean, they sent the number 1 pick who, in fantasy baseball, we all discussed him. I mean, we all liked him. You liked him. I liked him. I wasn't jumping.
Yeah, I had him on a couple rosters.
I mean, to come up with
32 home runs last year.
So to come up to the decision, instead of like letting the guy play and letting him hit it out, they just sent him down.
Well, they tried. I mean, Uncle Ted wants to point out that Baltimore is the worst team at managing prospects, which is unfortunately arguably true. I mean, yeah, they lined up Cade Povich against a team of all legitimate right-handed bats when he's a lefty. Why wouldn't you wait and throw him against another team? That makes a lot of sense. And you talk about Jackson Holiday. You talk about Heston Kjerstad. They called him up and didn't even really let him play. They gave him like 12 at-bats in 2 weeks.
I saw that. I mean, what a waste of time. I agree.
Yeah,
it's like why bring They're
And
not
now
going
he's
to play
he's
these guys.
crushing it
They don't bring them up.
Norfolk again. So
Yeah, Norfolk, Virginia. And Garrett Cole had a rehab start in
yeah,
for the
they're saying
Yankees.
he's only 1 or 2 away.
Yeah,
The rich get richer. You're going to see Jason Dominguez come back, and you're going to see Garrett Cole come back at around the same time for the Yankees, and all of a
yeah,
sudden, they just get deeper, which will help them. They can do us with Clark Schmidt on the IL. It eliminates their need to pitch good old Poteet for too many days. Cody Poteet, by the way, is pitching for the Yankees. 30 years old, so he's not exactly a prospect, but yeah, Garrett Cole allows them, when Clark Schmidt comes back, to go to a 6-man rotation if they want to manage innings.
yeah. Another guy that's not on the DL, Casey, but he's day to day is Tucker for the Astros, who is having a pretty good year. Who's one of the best hitters in the American League. I mean, I think it's fabulous. And I mean, it's just like I'm still stunned. So if you're playing fantasy baseball, you got to check your rosters every day, because some of these injuries, I don't watch some of them. You know, you don't read about them because no one, you know, it's not like major news in sports. But for us, it's major news because we're playing fantasy sports and we have some of these guys on our team, unfortunately. But yes, so that's why we push you to just go on your little sites of Yahoo, whatever sites you do, ESPN, what doesn't matter. And they keep track of all the other players that are on your team. And you can see there'll be a red cross or some type of sign telling you that that player is injured and that you should either make a roster move or you should either make
at least pull him out of your starting lineup. Yeah.
Yeah, because even if he's missing 3 or 4 days, you don't want to have a player sit or he's not starting anybody. So all you begin, I know everybody else like Atwater knows this, but I'm saying for the beginners, it's very important that you look at your roster every day compared to fantasy football where you don't have to do it every day, but for sure on Thursday you have to. But we'll talk about that later.
So what are your, let's talk about the prolonged slump that Elly De La Cruz has. Now he's still being useful because I think he stole 13 bags, even though he's only
home run.
like
He's hit a home run. I mean, he's going to get the stolen base category. So if most leagues have stolen base categories, so he's going to probably win you that category. He'll win you that category alone. I mean, alone he'll win you that category. So that counts just as much as home runs or RBIs. And then scoring runs, I believe he's in the top 10 in the league in scoring runs. So there's another category. I believe he has 10 home runs now. He hit one a couple nights ago in Colorado. So
he's on pace. He's on pace for like 25 home runs.
Okay. So
but since May 1st, he has a 35% strikeout rate and is batting below the Mendoza line at 190.
Oh no, Casey, I haven't got to batting average yet. Batting average is the problem. That's the problem with De La Cruz. He's going to strike out a lot, but most leagues doesn't matter if he strikes out. They don't count strikeouts against fantasy sports. Some leagues do. You got to check, but most leagues don't. You can quote me on that. And basically with him is taking him for like every category except batting average. Batting average is the problem, but it's still worth it. It's still a guy that I would love to have on my team.
But is he somebody you would overpay to get?
No. Well, just depends who I have at shortstop. If I have Corey Seager, I'm not going to really overpay to get De La Cruz. But if I have O'Neal Cruz, who's not playing well this year, who I think who probably will pick it up, I would say hopefully in the next couple of weeks, hoping. I like O'Neal Cruz. I don't really have him in anything. I just like the kid. 6'7", has an arm like a rocket. Steals bases. But if I have something like that I need another shortstop to take that position, yes, I would pay a little bit just because I like the youth factor, especially if it's a dynasty league. Redraft, I don't know.
Okay.
But dynasty league, I would definitely like put a package together for him just because he's so exciting to watch, Casey. Seriously.
So,
I mean,
what are
he'll
your
get on first, he'll still second, he'll still third, he'll still home. I mean,
Oh yeah,
what's
he's
better
legit.
than that? Yeah.
What is your expectations for Max Scherzer? He's in the beginning stages of his comeback. What do you expect? What would be a safe expectation for fantasy players if they've been waiting on Max Scherzer to help their pitching?
Last year, remember starts. I don't know if you remember. We talked about him. I mean, he is obviously he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's definitely first year Hall of Famer for sure. He's won he won championships. He's highly decorated. He has two different guys. He very nice. You never hear anything bad about him. I had the privilege of having dinner with him on Christmas Eve and watching a Clipper game with him years ago, which was very great guy. Talked about everything. He is 40 years old and off that major surgery. I don't know. I mean, the question to me is, I don't know. I don't think he'll be his old self, but can you get 5 or 6 innings, 1 or 2 runs, and 7, 8 strikeouts? I don't think that's out of the question. I really don't. I mean, back in the day, his arm was lightning. Now it's kind of like, mild. But yes, Casey, I would take a chance on him. If I had him on my right now, when he started his first game, I would definitely start him. So yes,
I think if I was looking at it, I think it's reasonable to expect a sub 3.5 ERA from him with around a strikeout per inning.
Wow, you're expecting big stuff.
Well,
I'm not that optimistic on him. I'm more of a pessimist, but I like it. I mean, I hope he does well.
If he stays healthy, I don't think 3.5 is out of the realm for him. Maybe his strikeouts go down to like 8 per 9 or 7 per 9, but this is a guy who was 11, 12 strikeouts per 9 innings for the majority of his career. So I'm still expecting a 30% regression in strikeouts. If
in his peak, he was the number 1 pick of pitchers for like 5 years in a row. I mean, he was that good. He was
for
great.
Good reason. Yeah, I know, for good reason.
Yeah, he was great. But I don't know. Some guys like that, I'm just questioning, like, you're 40 years old. What motivates you to wake up and do the whole rehab thing and you still want to pitch your Major League Baseball? It's just like, I would just kind of like maybe retire, but maybe he wants to have a big retirement thing. Like he goes through all the stages. But he's not retiring, so it doesn't mean anything. There you go.
Okay.
And another guy's coming back. DeGrom's going to come back in July for Texas. How many games is Texas out? I mean, they're getting Scherzer back and DeGrom back.
Let me see.
I mean, are they any way like? Is it any way possible?
They are currently 4.5 games back of Seattle.
Yeah.
And for first, and they are currently 3.5 games out of the second wild card spot.
Okay, so there's a lot of time. We're not even a break yet. So
it's nothing.
If those guys come back, if those guys come back, so 50% like they were when they got hurt. I mean, Texas will be a team to be seriously. I mean, you're talking about 2 major starters coming back and within like a month of each other. That's major stuff. I agree. And the Dodgers are going to Yankee Stadium this weekend, Casey Scheinfold. That's a big series. The Dodgers would get swept today by Pittsburgh, which is unbelievable.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I mean, I would never think in a million years that Dodgers would in Pittsburgh.
Who's pitching for Pittsburgh tonight?
I know Faulkner. No, is that Colorado? Was it Faulkner? I know the Dodgers have Buehler. I know Buehler's with the Dodgers.
Buehler against Bailey Falter. You're right. Yep.
I love the name Falter for a pitcher. So it's Buehler going. They're really like hitting that well with the team they have. They're really not.
Pablo Lopez going against the Yankees.
Yeah,
it's a tough matchup.
The Yankees own the Twins, Casey Scheinfold. I told you that.
I know.
Go. And Pablo Lopez, the reason I offer him to you in our league, if you look at his last 2 starts, he's not been pitching well, Casey Scheinfold.
No, he's not
at all.
great.
No, I wouldn't even start him today.
He's still a good pitcher. Yeah, I have him on my
Are you
bench.
starting against the Yankees? I'm just curious.
No, I have him on my bench.
Okay, you're not crazy. So, see, that's a good example. Pay attention who your team's playing. If the Yankees are playing against your team and they don't play well against them, don't start them. Like Casey's not. But
Royce
yes,
Lewis
the
is on
Yankees
the
are
bench
playing the
too,
Dodgers
so.
this weekend. Yamamoto pitches on Saturday, which should be kind of fun. So it should be a great series. No, Yamamoto pitches tomorrow. Grove Stone is on Saturday. Look, Casey, look at Gavin's stats this year. That's another guy that's under the radar.
He's
No
been
one talks
pitching great.
about.
I have him
He's
on
like,
I have him on our Fantrax league, and right now he's got a 2.9 ERA, 6 quality starts already.
Yep.
1.19 whip. The whip's a little high, but
It's
and
not-
the
I mean,
strikeouts aren't good. 47 in 62 innings. So that's where he gets in the most trouble.
Yeah, I still think he's been great. He's actually surprised me. I didn't have him at all. What he's doing right now. I was like, now I'm like, when he pitches, I'm sure the Dodgers are happy to see him because Buehler's not pitching well at all. But there's a lot of great matchups this weekend, which it's going to be a great weekend for baseball.
Well, tomorrow night you got Chris Sale going against Washington. That's a good matchup for them. The
Nationals,
Yamamoto against the Yankees.
The Nationals have been playing really good baseball. I did not expect them to play. I mean, they're close to 500. They're pitchers like Gore and some of those guys. This guy Parker pitching great. Gore's pitching great. Williams, who was horrible last year, he's pitching great. I mean, they have some good pitchers. They have some good hitters. The Nationals are really outdoing themselves. Them in Kansas. I didn't have Kansas City being as good as they are either. Kansas City looks great too.
Kansas City's they're literally 26 games ahead of where they were last year. I think I heard the stat. Right. Seth Lugo has been awesome, and that was
I'm waiting for him to have a go in the downfall, but that's happening.
No, he's an all-star right now. Bobby Witt, as we know, is taking that step from young stud to superstar, I think, pretty well there. You got
Casey, he's 2 hits a game, RBI.
Salvador Perez has found the fountain of youth.
I don't think he
Cole Reagans is the real deal. So it's
Singer pitches today. I love Singer.
Singer's great. Yeah, it's just fun. Pasquantino isn't hitting for great power, but he's driving in runs like crazy.
Night an RBI, Casey Scheinfeld. Every night this guy's extra RBI.
Yeah.
I mean,
base. It's a fun team. Nelson Velasquez is a good power hitter. MJ Melendez is doing a nice job. So they have a lot. It's fun to watch in Kansas City. You always, even though I'm a Yankees fan, but I get it. We're the Manchester City almost of baseball, in that we can spend as much money as we want. I still love watching the Pittsburghs and Kansas Cities and Tampa Bays, these small market teams who don't have the payroll, but just watching them win is to me the most enjoyable part of baseball. So I always root for them, except when they're playing the Yankees in the playoffs. Even if they're playing the Yankees now, I would love to see Paul Skeens go to the Yankee Stadium and just tear them apart. Like, I think it would be amazing to watch him strike out like 15 of them. But I'm still going to root for the Yankees. You have Luis Robert is back, or Robert, or whatever his name is. He's back. Royce Lewis, as we talked about.
The White Sox are
they're terrible. They have to do a fire sale.
Oh, Casey, you're going to see any player that's not bolted down to the ground is going to be gone. I mean, they're already talking about what's their best pitcher's name?
Garrett Crochet.
Crochet is going to go to San Diego. That's the rumor now. So,
I would after Dylan Cease, they're just sending all their best pitchers to San Diego.
Send everybody to San Diego. So, might as well. Beautiful weather, out on the beach, good-looking girls. Why not San Diego?
If they were smart, why not send them to Baltimore and try to get one of these young prospects
Yeah, good luck about. I don't think they're trading anybody.
Connor Norby or Kobe Mayo
Norby,
or Heston
these guys
Kierstead
aren't
or
going anywhere. If they were smart, they would. If they were smart, they
yeah.
would trade some of these guys.
Get
I mean, I
Michael
think
Kopech and Garrett
Cedric Mullins
Crochet.
should
Get
be
a
traded.
starter and a closer. Yeah,
Cedric
Michael
Mullins should
Kopech.
be either
Cedric Mullins
should
is.
go,
I would.
become a free agent, or just be traded.
I tried to tell Dan and you that at the beginning of the season when we were doing preseason. I'm like, this guy is not. He was Brady Anderson. If anybody's as old as we are, you'll remember back in the mid '90s, there was a center fielder for the Orioles named Brady Anderson who used to. I was at University of Maryland at the time, so I remember it well. He would rollerblade to the park with no shirt on because he was very proud of himself, and he hit like 55 home runs or something ridiculous, and then was like terrible the rest of his career.
Remember, he had the sideburns. He had those little the sideburns in here. And he played for the Red Sox too. Brady Anderson.
He was the poster child for the steroid era.
I didn't say that. There's no evidence of that. He was never tested positive. You can't prove it. Just like Rafael Palmeiro, you can never prove it.
Yeah,
you can't prove it. But yeah. I mean, Kansas City to me is one of the highlights of the year so far. If you have to pick a team that no one expected them to win like they're doing right now, I enjoy watching them play. They come back in time, and they're a fun team to watch. I'm rooting for them in that division, which is up for grab. Even though Cleveland's winning right now, and I'm not a big Cleveland Guardians fan. I didn't say the I word. But I feel Kansas City will give them a run for their money.
Hey, I can't argue with that. Well, anything else before we head out today that you think we should touch on?
My tip of the day is always bet on the Yankees when they play Minnesota. And my other tip is look at your rosters every night, either early in the morning before you work or late at night when you come home. But I prefer early in the morning because a lot of the news happens at late at night. But that's my tip, is just stay with your team. Don't give up. It's a long season. Trust me. I know.
Yeah. No matter how far out of it you are now, you still have 3 months to get back in it. So don't give up. Keep grinding. Even if you gain 1 or 2 points a week, you'd be amazed how much that ends up adding up by the end of the season. So incremental success is still success. Climb the ropes, get into the grind, make the moves you have to make. Don't get too emotionally attached to players who are struggling. Especially in redraft leagues, you got to be willing to cut bait. So I think those are the takeaways for this June 6th today. Thank you to everybody for tuning in and listening. Thanks for some of the comments there. Ross, enjoy this weekend. Enjoy a lot of baseball. Enjoy some good hockey. Enjoy some great basketball. And we will talk again next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, where we will give you some waiver wire pickups to target going into the dog days of summer. As always,
go Mavericks.
Okay.
Yep. I think, and my hockey is like the Oilers to beat the Panthers in 6 games. Connor McDavid. There you go.
All right. Well, as always, tune in, hit the like button, turn on notifications to find out when we're doing. Leave comments, write us questions. We love to answer with you guys. And we will be back again on Tuesday.